Welcome to News 9 and you are watching On Point. Today we have two On Points. On Point 1 features an exclusive conversation with former Bangladesh Education Minister Mohibul Hasan Chowdhury on Sheikh Hasina trial and other Bangladesh issues. On Point 2 is on Afghan Foreign Minister's Muttaqi exposing Pakistan on terrorism, says ISIS is being trained on Pak soil. And now let's now take a quick look at the headlines. Al Falah University to undergo forensic audit. Enforcement Directorate to investigate money trail. Scrutiny confirmed after high-level meeting chaired by Union Home Minister Amit Shah. Counter-intelligence wing carries out raids at 13 locations across Kashmir in Delhi blast case. Detains 2 doctors from Anantnag Government Medical College. Big win for Karnataka. SC dismisses Tamil Nadu petition challenging states. Mekedatu balancing reservoir on Kaveri calls the plea premature. Supreme Court bats for electric vehicles, calls for phasing out high-end luxury vehicle powered by petrol and diesel engines. Bangladesh is on the edge. Security has been heightened as the tensions grip the country after calls for a lockdown by the Awami League to protest Sheikh Hasina's trial by the International Crimes Tribunal. As I said, security has been heightened as people in Bangladesh feel that Sheikh Hasina is not being treated correctly. The banned Awami League has called for a lockdown over Hasina's trial. Bangladesh's International Crimes Tribunal is likely to deliver its verdict on November 17th. In a crackdown on opposition, 34 Awami League leaders have also been arrested. The special ICT judge has sought death penalty for Hasina. Chief Prosecutor Tajul Islam has sought the death penalty for Hasina on 5 counts, including murder, attempted murder, torture and extermination of protesters. ICT is preparing to deliver its verdict in the case of crimes against humanity filed against Hasina, her former Home Minister Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal and ex-police chief Abdullah Al-Mamun over last year's protest that left hundreds dead. Hasina fled to India on August 5th, 2024. Now, in an interview to Indian Express, Hasina alleged that Muhammad Yunus and his followers were involved in fomenting the violence. She said that the protest began peacefully in response to the introduction of civil service job quotas. However, matters escalated when radical elements led the crowds into violence. There is forensic evidence suggesting foreign mercenaries acting as provocators. She said, I have no doubt that Yunus and his followers were involved in fomenting the uprising. She also said, thanking India as a long-standing friend to Bangladesh, Hasina added that she would love to return home, but for her to do this, Bangladesh must first hold free and fair participatory elections. An election without Awami League cannot be legitimate. Bangladesh cannot and will not remain in this state. We will rebuild from ashes and will do it again. I have absolute faith that the spirit of 1971, the courage, the unity and the love for our country will rise again. To discuss the ground situation in Dhaka, we are joined for an exclusive conversation by Barrister Mohibul Hasan Chowdhury, former Education Minister of Bangladesh. Thank you so much, sir, for joining me on this conversation. Important day on Monday, when the verdict is going to come out. Sheikh Hasina has also spoken on this issue. Do you think that the Bangladesh has no future without Awami League?
Thank you for connecting me. Awami League still commands at least 50% of the electorates in Bangladesh. It's not just a question of whether Awami League is going to be allowed to take part in the election. The issue is not just an election issue. The issue is whether Bangladesh is turning the time back into the time of being East Pakistan, whether Bangladesh is becoming a vassal state of ISI, and the Pakistani military intelligence and the Pakistani military junta. That is the issue here. And that is what Mr. Yunus and his cronies are hell-bent on. Therefore, it is Awami League's responsibility to turn the tide back and to take the country back from these militants, from these extremists who want to turn Bangladesh into a transit point for terrorism in the region.
Sheikh Hasina also said that there were agent provocateurs. There were foreign hand behind the violence which led to her leaving for India. Who are these peoples? Where did they get the funds from, sir? Who was supporting them?
If we are to look into the specific incidents where protesters were targeted and killed through sniper rifles, we have to go back to the claim made by Jaish-e-Mohammed in Pakistan and Lashkar-e-Taiba. The leaders of LET and Jaish-e-Mohammed had claimed that they have shown Hasina and Bangladesh what they are capable of. They were behind the protesters, they were behind the protest, and they claimed success in the ouster of our government. So it's abundantly clear who were the mercenaries. On the field, these were the mercenaries. Beyond that horizon, Mr. Yunus had a bigger alliance abroad. He's very close to certain elements in the Western Hemisphere. He's very close to the Clinton family and the Biden family. He had gathered support from them. He had gathered an ecosystem of foreign operatives who accepted that militant elements should be or could be used to oust a leader like Sheikh Hasina. And these are the foreign mercenaries. One was fighting. One side was fighting on the intellectual side. They were giving the front, and then on the ground it was the LETs, the Jaish-e-Mohammed, the ISIS, the people who want the Ghazwatul Hind narrative to be established in the subcontinent.
A lot of people in India would like to know, if Awami League is not there, if BNP is being sidelined, which political party is filling the vacuum there? Is it Jamaat or even a radical version of them? Can you shed some light on this?
It's not just Jamaat Islami who are backing this interim regime. We've also seen groups like Hizbut Tahrir, which is an international Islamist outfit, an extremist outfit, comprising of white-collar terrorists, the ones that you've seen in India, professionals, engineers, doctors, bankers, and so on and so forth. So Hizbut Tahrir is very active in Bangladesh. Jamaat Islami is accommodating all of these elements in order to turn Bangladesh into another ISIS-like state, which they had in the Middle East for a short period of time. So BNP is sidelined, Awami League is banned, Jamaat Islami is trying to forge an alliance of extremist elements across the world, and Bangladesh, their objective is to turn Bangladesh into an extremist-led nation. But of course, Mr. Yunus is now serving as the front of this initiative.
You're saying that Yunus is serving as a front, but he should have completed his job. The fact that he continues to be in the position means that he still has backing from the internal systems of Bangladesh, which means army. He should have finished his work in the first 6 months. That was the mandate of the interim government, but he continues in his chair. Your opinion on that?
See, Bangladesh army had infiltration. Let's be very frank about it. They've had elements from the extremist parts of society from Hizbul Tahrir to Jamaat Islami and so on and so forth. So they are now calling the shot over there. Bangladesh Army's task was to hold an election, whether it is Yunus or whether it is whoever it is who will be leading who was supposed to lead the interim government. But not only they have failed, but as an institution now they are fighting for their own existence. There is talk of replacing the army with an Islamist militia. Jamaat Islami had been promoting this idea of an Islamist militia. So army not only has delayed, but in some ways their responsibility to serve the nation, to uphold the constitution, is now compromised.
But what is the guarantee? The Yunus government will not allow Awami League to contest elections. So do you think that the elections would be legitimate if the biggest party is not being allowed to contest elections in Bangladesh?
Of course, it's not going to be legitimate. He does not want to hold an election, which is why he wants to bar not just Awami League, but the Jatiyo Party, the Communist Party, the Workers' Party. There are so many political parties who are left out of this so-called consensus-building national unity conference. So he only wants to lead the religious right, the extremist element of society, in order to jeopardize Bangladesh's security and also bring in as chaos as much as possible. The man is in the end of his lifespan. He's almost a 90-year-old man. He's being used by these extremist elements, and he's lending his service, his persona, as a vendetta against India, against Bangladesh, and against Awami League.
You know, if I go by your analysis that it's a US-Pakistan structured coup in Bangladesh, but also the fact of the matter is that people underestimated Muhammad Yunus. You know, people thought that he's the benign guy, someone who, gave life to the whole idea of Grameen Bank, idea which took hold, globally. People celebrated for him. Very few people realized that he'll turn out to be the Islamist what he is today, and supporting radicals and not the secular liberals or even moderate conservatives in the political mainstream of Bangladesh.
The man is at the fag end of his lifespan. So he has not much to gain right now. He is living with a lot of vengeance against the state of Bangladesh.
Why?
He wanted to take over power. He could not. He had been trying since 2007. So at the end of his lifespan, he's a 90-year-old man. I don't know how long, depending on his health, he's not going to live forever, right? So at this end, he wants to take revenge. When it suits him, he becomes a follower of the Western liberal ideologies, for example, LGBTQ rights movement. When it suits him, he suddenly becomes the best friend of the extremists in Bangladesh. He has shunned all the liberal elements of society. He wants to reset the button. That's in his own word. He was planning this whole thing meticulously. This is his own word. And his colleagues, the people who he had invested in, had said that they were being invested on by him. They were planning to target police stations, to target public properties, to target protesters in order to oust the government of Sheikh Hasina. So it's not something that I am saying it to the media. It is them who are claiming and admitting that they were planning this all along.
And before I let go of you, this entire violence and subsequent the vacation of space by Sheikh Hasina has impacted India-Bangladesh relationship, and it has led to Pakistan occupying that space. What are its implications for a stable, peaceful South Asia? Because both India and Bangladesh had a very nice, warm and a close relationship.
And a beneficial relationship. Bangladesh's rise in the global economic order also is directly linked to the professionalism of Indian professionals in Bangladesh in certain industries. For example, the ready-made garments industries. Bangladesh, Indian and Sri Lankan professionals are the backbone of Bangladesh's RMG sector, ready-made garment sector, which is the biggest employer in the country. So it's not a one-way relationship where India gets its way. It is a relationship where Bangladesh is also gaining. India and Bangladesh's relationship not only just is historic, but it's a beneficial relationship when it comes to economics as well. We didn't have much interaction with Pakistan. Geographically, it is in an impossible area. Culturally, linguistically, it is a distant country. Suddenly, out of nowhere, inviting Pakistani military officials, Pakistani military intelligence to start operating in Bangladesh is an attempt to destabilize the entire region. ISI is known to be an organization which harvests terrorists and exports it to other countries. And Bangladesh used to be a place where ISI had blank check to operate. And now they want to go back to that time period where ISI is reactivated in Bangladesh, like the terror attacks of Delhi and the like, and similar terror attacks are being planned. Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Taiba are claiming that they have opened branches in Bangladesh, and Bangladeshi government, the current interim government, is publicly telling others that they are allowing Pakistani officials to enter the country without visa, without security clearance. They've invited several extremist political leaders into Bangladesh. People of Bangladesh never fought for this. It was an attempt, it was a protest for a government job quota. Suddenly, the country is now being turned into a vassal state of ISI. And that is what we are protesting. And we will win this war because 90% of our people are against this attempt by the Yunus regime.
Mohibul, lot of people were very worried that, after Sheikh Hasina quit the scene because she was in India, she's still in India, the violence against Hindus, minorities like Chakmas went up. Why did that happen? Why were Hindus suddenly being targeted by mainstream people, temples, or the places of study, or the places where they stayed? They not only attacked important places, or like, for example, Father of Bangladesh, but places associated with the Indian state also got attacked.
Absolutely. I mean, anything that mirrors Pakistan, they are now adopting. Everything that is mirroring Pakistan, they are adopting it. So Pakistan has gotten rid of its religious minorities, and that's what they're doing in Bangladesh as well. It's not just the Hindu community or the Buddhist community or the tribal community. They're also trying to destroy the liberal Sufi sects. They've destroyed all the mazars, the shrines, which are held with a lot of respect across the country. They've gotten rid of them, or they're trying to. They want to destroy the cultural fabric of Bangladesh, the Bengali nationalist fabric, which is what we had held on to for so long. So they want to Arabize, or I should say, the Wahhabi brand of Islam. They want to impose it on the country, and want to turn it into a breeding ground of militants and terrorism. That's their objective.
Thank you, Mr. Chowdhury, for joining me, because the biggest issue in this entire thing is once you radicalize a society, it's very difficult to de-radicalize. And we have seen it in Afghanistan, we have seen it in Pakistan. Once the process of radicalization takes place, it's intensely difficult to de-radicalize it, because it creates a mindset, it perpetuates a generation which believes in it, and which is so evident in Field Marshal Asim Munir, the guy who joined in the Pakistani army when Zia-ul-Haq was Islamizing the entire Pakistani setup. And now we are there to witness the consequence of the process Zia-ul-Haq started in the 80s. Thank you so much, and best of luck that true democracy returns to Bangladesh, because India stands for democracy and the rights of the people of Bangladesh. Meanwhile, Bangladesh's chief advisor and caretaker PM, Professor Muhammad Yunus, he addressed the nation and said that the Bangladesh will hold parliamentary elections and bring in sweeping reforms to politics, institutions and the governance after last year's protest. On this issue, I am joined by Suhas Chakma. Mr. Chakma, how much do we believe in this guy? I mean, can you believe in him?
No, I don't think anybody can trust Dr. Yunus. He has changed, or he transformed into a completely new entity. I think people had, as you had said earlier, some kind of belief that being a Nobel laureate, he would be a liberal fellow, but he turned out to be a fundamentalist, and he has not changed any of the views. And I think the most worrying part is the fact that, he's showing traits of a typical dictator to cling to power, and the kind of reactions he has been having with respect to the political opponents. You do not expect from a Nobel laureate. You do not expect from somebody who has to rebuild the country or heal the country. So he has, I think, missed the opportunity. I don't think anybody can trust him.
So, I was speaking to Mohibul Hasan Chowdhury before you joined. He said ISI is taking over. He was saying that ISI is terraforming the political landscape of Bangladesh. They are allowing radical organization to operate in Bangladesh. Are we going to witness sort of a new phase in which the society of Bangladesh is going to be radicalized the way Ziaul Haq radicalized the entire Pakistani society and its various institutions?
I don't think he would be successful in his attempts, despite the support of the Americans as well as the Pakistanis and the ISI's presence in Bangladesh. I think what we have to bear in mind is the fact that Pakistan still is not an wanted force. They do not have the acceptability in Bangladesh, and people of Bangladesh have not forgotten the genocide, the massacres, and the war crimes which were committed by the Pakistanis. So, East Bengal or Bangladesh in that sense is not going to return to in any kind of Islamized society. Of course, majority is Islam, so the Islamic thoughts continue to dominate it. But you must remember, the Jamaat-e-Islami never had the support more than 8 to 10% at the highest level. It usually used to get 6 to 8% support. If you look at today, I think the main enemy of the interim government is the Bangladesh National Party, which is actually considered as a right-wing party. So you could see that, the Yunus government is going right of the right-wing parties. But I would say, I think at the end of the whole process, the Islamists or those who are seeking to establish some kind of Islamic Republic in Bangladesh, they are going to be defeated. And you could say this is 1971 being repeated in a little bit softer way, and it's being decided again, by the people of Bangladesh. Last time it was Pakistan and India, which we are in direct confrontation in East Pakistan. And today we could see that, there is a proxy war, and the Yunus government is supported by Pakistan. And of course, Hasina is in India. And it's, of course, the whole idea of India, or whole policy of India is to support democracy in Bangladesh. And when you ban a political party like the Awami League, you have basically closed all the doors for healing, negotiations, accountability, anything you talk about. So it's a policy which gears towards complete, conflict between two forces of Bangladesh. One, those who support Pakistanis, that's Dr. Yunus, and the other one which supports Jai Bangla,
okay,
or the idea of Bangladesh with a little bit of liberalism.
Okay, if I have to give in to your idea, how long do you give it to Yunus government or the radicals or the Islamists who have taken over Bangladesh? How much time do you give it to them till there is a churn again? If you're saying that we are witnessing a repeat of 1971.
Well, I would say I think up to February, because by February we will have a decision whether they are holding elections or not holding elections, because even though they are announcing the dates for elections, etc., no one can take it for granted till actually the elections are held finally. Because if you look at the statement of the senior Joint Secretary of the BNP today, Salahuddin,
Yes.
then you could see that they have already expressed dissent with respect to the announcement made by the chief
Absolutely.
advisor today. So I would say, I think by February we will have a clear-cut idea as to or which direction Bangladesh is moving towards.
Okay, thank you. So Hasan is saying that next couple of months are very important. We are going to witness a repeat of 1975. And I think then that would be the best thing to have happened to Bangladesh in last 2 years. That if sanity, democracy returns, and the radical and Islamists are taken out by the people of Bangladesh, who are being deprived their true space, because Yunus, who on behalf of the Pakistan and ISI has taken over Bangladesh. Thank you, Suhas, for joining me. So this is all I had on point 1. But don't go away. On point 2 is on Afghanistan Foreign Minister Amir Muttaqi calling out Pakistan's bluff on terror, but after a short break.
भारत सरकार ने सभी देशवासियों के हित में हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस से जीएसटी पूरी तरह से हटाकर 0 कर दिया है। इससे हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस काफी सस्ता हो गया है। पॉलिसी बाजार पर अब 1 करोड़ का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 550 रुपए महीने से शुरू। policybazaar.com।
क्वालिटी पे इतना कॉन्फिडेंस, इसीलिए बिरला ओपस एश्योरेंस। 1 साल में पेंट को कुछ भी हुआ तो पेंटिंग वापस करके देंगे। रजिस्टर करो birlaopus.com पर।